Welcome to Frost & Sullivan's Growth Podcast series. This edition breaks down highlights from our Frost Radar analysis, evaluating market leaders, innovation benchmarks, and growth potential across supply-side platforms and advertising technologies. We'll spotlight companies to action and explore best practices that separate emerging leaders from the rest of the field.
Imagine this. You open a news app. A video ad loads before the article. You tap on a product recommendation in your social feed, or you stream a show and a commercial appears. What you don't see is that a lightning-fast auction just happened behind the scenes. In less than a second, dozens, sometimes hundreds of advertisers competed for that tiny slice of digital attention. And the system orchestrating this complex transaction? It's the supply-side platform. These supply-side platforms sit at the heart of the programmatic advertising ecosystem. They help publishers, media companies, and app developers sell their advertising inventory in real time. By connecting ad supply to multiple sources of demand, supply-side platforms, or SSPs, ensure that every impression finds the highest possible bidder. But their role goes far beyond simple auctions. Modern SSPs manage ad inventory across websites, mobile apps, connected TV platforms, audio streaming services, and even digital billboards. They integrate fraud detection tools, identity frameworks, compliance controls, and auction logic, essentially acting as the operating system of sell-side media management. So the question is, how will you identify the most lucrative growth opportunities emerging from the SSP revolution?
To understand the transformation underway in the advertising technologies ecosystem, we need to look at how media consumption itself has changed. Just a decade ago, most digital advertising revolved around websites and desktop browsing. But today, audiences are everywhere. They move between streaming platforms, social networks, retail marketplaces, gaming environments, and mobile apps, often within the same hour. This means that advertising inventory is now scattered across thousands of digital environments and devices. And that fragmentation has changed the economics of monetization. Publishers must now manage inventory across multiple channels, each with different data signals, measurement standards, and buyer expectations. And this is exactly where modern supply-side platforms have stepped in. Instead of acting as simple ad exchanges, SSPs are evolving into intelligent platforms that combine omnichannel inventory management, contextual targeting, real-time analytics, automated yield optimization. The scale of this opportunity is enormous. The global SSP landscape is projected to reach $22.1 billion by 2032, growing steadily as digital advertising expands into new formats and environments. But provider growth isn't guaranteed. As competition intensifies, the real challenge is not just selling more impressions, but identifying the most profitable growth opportunities within the ecosystem, which raises a critical question. Where should SSP providers focus their strategies to stay relevant in this fragmented media world?
Several powerful megatrends are redefining how SSP providers compete. First is sustainability, ad quality, and fraud prevention. Advertisers today are asking tougher questions. They want to know, is the inventory brand safe? Is the traffic genuine? What is the footprint of this campaign? As a result, SSPs are increasingly judged not only on revenue performance, but also on transparency, fraud prevention, and environmental impact. Second is the rise of new advertising formats. Connected TV, digital audio, and digital out-of-home advertising are expanding rapidly. But monetizing these channels isn't as simple as placing banner ads on websites. Each format requires new workflows, new measurement tools, and new pricing models. And third is competitive consolidation. Publishers and advertisers are reducing the number of SSP partners they work with. Instead of integrating dozens of platforms, many organizations now prefer a smaller, more efficient stack of trusted partners. This means SSPs must prove their value more clearly than ever before. These changes are happening at the same time as major internal challenges. Cost per mil, or CPM rates, are declining. Third-party cookies are disappearing. Identity frameworks are becoming weaker, and scale alone is no longer enough to protect profitability. So the big strategic challenge becomes, how can SSP providers supercharge their business models to survive these structural shifts?
So, how can providers thwart these growth barriers? The first and perhaps most disruptive challenges is the deprecation of third-party cookies. For years, cookies enabled advertisers to track users across websites and deliver targeted ads. But privacy regulations and browser restrictions are gradually eliminating this mechanism. Without cookies, cross-site targeting becomes significantly harder. To adapt, SSPs are investing heavily in alternative identity frameworks, first-party data integrations, and contextual targeting models. The second barrier is supply path optimization, or SPO. Advertisers want clearer visibility into how their advertising budgets move through the supply chain. As a result, they are reducing the number of intermediaries involved in ad transactions. For SSPs, this means competition is becoming more selective. Only platforms that demonstrate clear ROI, transparency, and operational efficiency will remain in preferred partnerships. The third barrier involves data privacy and compliance. Global regulations, from Europe's GDPR to new regional data laws, are forcing SSPs to embed consent management directly into their systems. And finally, there is the growing complexity of mobile and connected TV environments, where inconsistent identifiers make targeting and measurement difficult. To overcome these barriers, leading SSPs are adopting AI-driven pricing models, predictive forecasting, and automated demand routing. But technology alone isn't enough. Providers must also rethink where their future revenue streams will come from.
Now, the next wave of expansion is coming from three powerful frontiers. The first is retail media monetization. Retailers now possess some of the most valuable first-party data in advertising, information about actual purchasing behavior. By integrating SSP technology into retail ecosystems, advertisers can link campaigns directly to product sales. This enables entirely new advertising formats, including shoppable ads that connect product data with connected TV, mobile apps, and digital out-of-home screens. The second frontier is premium video and digital out-of-home inventory. These channels command higher CPMs because they offer stronger engagement and brand visibility. SSPs that secure exclusive or preferred access to this inventory can create premium marketplaces for advertisers. The third growth driver is AI-driven automation and collaboration. Artificial intelligence is moving beyond pricing optimization. Advanced SSPs are now using AI to automate deal creation, detect fraud and anomalies, forecast campaign performance, and optimize cross-channel inventory allocation. At the same time, independent publishers are forming alliances to build shared identity frameworks and collaborative data ecosystems, enabling them to compete with large walled garden platforms. But identifying growth opportunities is only half the equation. Success comes from turning these opportunities into sustainable competitive advantage. So what best practices will define the winning SSP platforms of the future?
In a highly competitive SSP ecosystem, winning platforms are distinguished by how effectively they manage data, pricing, and cross-channel complexity. The first best practice is curated, outcome-driven solutions. Rather than offering raw inventory, leading SSPs are packaging curated marketplaces built around first-party and commerce data. These marketplaces are designed to deliver specific outcomes, such as conversions or retail sales, rather than simply impressions. The second best practice is platform unification. Many advertising stacks have become overly complicated, with separate tools for ad serving, analytics, identity management, and programmatic bidding. The most successful SSPs are simplifying this architecture by building end-to-end platforms that unify these capabilities across web, mobile apps, connected TV, audio, and digital out-of-home channels. This reduces friction for publishers while improving transparency for advertisers. And the third best practice is proving value with measurable results. Metrics like click-through rates, cost per acquisition, CPM, and return on ad spend are becoming essential for demonstrating performance. SSPs that document revenue gains and turn them into compelling case studies gain a powerful advantage in enterprise sales and partnership negotiations. Because in a world shaped by supply path optimization, proof of performance determines who stays in the ecosystem and who gets replaced.
In conclusion, the supply-side platform revolution has just begun. What started as a simple tool for auctioning digital ad space has become a complex intelligence layer powering the global advertising economy. This demands more than scale or technical infrastructure. The SSPs that thrive will be the ones that master AI-driven monetization, build interoperable data ecosystems, unlock value across new advertising formats, and deliver transparent, measurable outcomes for both publishers and advertisers. The stakes are high. Why? Because for publishers, advertisers, and technology providers alike, the SSP revolution represents both a challenge and an opportunity. So as the industry enters its next phase of transformation, the ultimate question becomes, do you have the right strategy, technology, and partnerships in place to capture maximum SSP growth?
Thanks for joining us on Frost & Sullivan's Growth Podcast. For access to our research, competitive benchmarking, and best practice frameworks, head over to frost.com or email hello@frost.com. We'll be back soon with more to help you stay clear-headed and growth-ready.